review for governance, driving implementation, and that's got to be able to survive organisational churn, change of leadership, change of priorities. And critical to making that happen is your local leaders. And when I mean local, I mean the people that are the influencers on your PCs or your police staff working in that space. Quite frankly, most PCs and sergeants aren't really interested in what Superintendent Harber says. They are interested in what their local inspector says. And if the inspector says, you need to do this, they will follow that. So winning that key layer of management, I think, is really critical. But governance does require a bit of bias. So there's got to be some consequences, and you need to track that things are happening so you can escalate. I've mentioned that the resources, you really do need a field manager and a project manager. And if you're doing diversionary trials, you've got to invest in offender management if you don't already have it. And that really varies between forces. So the assumption that you can roll this out anywhere really depends on what you've currently got. But something I want to pick up on is that I don't, so this is my opinion, and my experience of training, is I don't think academic training is enough. You do need this expert advisory network around you to help you inform your trial design and how you might track that trial design to spot where things might go wrong and work out how you can do that. But you need to do your power calculations, for example. Like, it sounds really naive. I didn't do that before I started. And me and Simon Rose, I think, remembers that we presented later. We just thought, because he was my vice commander at the time, oh, we'll just run it for a year and see what happens. But actually, no, you've got to have a certain number of offenders to get a statistically significant effect. And it's really easy to make a mistake. So checkpoints experience have an awful lot of attrition in their sample because of where they time around and so on. Key things like that can be defined.
Just to add on this, just to add, shortly we published RAND's review for Ministry of Justice on what works best in doing diversion in that case, particularly on diversion involving those who have got mental illness or special needs or whatever, is pretty clear that the better practice out there in most forces looks like having a core, at least a core dedicated unit of people who actually have considerable expertise. That isn't a surprise, and I appreciate for some forces that's quite a stretch, but there's really strong correlation between what looks good and having that kind of core of expertise, and probably also the ability to call on a wider core of expertise around.
And so to get effective implementation, get people moving